Sri Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, in this life, as human beings, whatever the things we do with our bodily, verbally, or mentally actions, it's always going to create a kind of like a count action. So the very purpose of the Dharma is telling us the very nature of the world. And once you know the very nature of the world, and it helps us to find our own path. And other thing is, whatever happened to us, it brings us the clarity to understand why these things happen this way. Otherwise, because the most dangerous thing is sometimes when things happen to us, if you start to believe, or if you start to look, it happened because of somebody. Maybe it is okay that you think about it is happened because of unseen power, unseen God, unseen creator, because you don't see it. But how about if you start to think that whatever the things happen to you, especially when the things go wrong, why? Because mostly in life things go wrong. When things go wrong, if you always think it happened because of somebody else, then you point out your fingers to other people. Then what will happen? Because if you point out fingers to unseen God, maybe you cannot do anything. But how about if you start to think about the people? Because that influence, that whatever the creator, that influence, if you have the mental influence to think like that way, it empower you to think around regarding the people also. So then when you think about people, then you go behind them. And then you try to fix the situation and trying to fixing other people. And that is what mostly look at the world, and even our own behavior sometimes. How many times we always think about others and thinking that they doing things wrong. So then the main important thing, once you recognize the nature of the world and the nature of the Dhamma, and it will give a clarity. When something happen, you can get into the bottom and see where it's go wrong. Once you get into the bottom and once you clear that place, once you have clear understanding regarding that, and you don't make more other mistakes thinking about it happened because of other people or other planets or other the gods or the creators, other unseen powers. So that's why the very important thing in the very first thing that you have to remember, when something go wrong in your life, when something go wrong, if you are depressed, unhappy, sad, worry, the very first thing you have to do, that is one of the quality that when you become matured, even in any field. So learn to take the responsibility to yourself rather than thinking it because of somebody or something. Don't afraid for that. Take the responsibility to yourself first. Because if you experience something sad, worry, unhappy, or if you think something go wrong, take the responsibility to yourself first. And once you take the responsibility, if you able to get that, if you have ability to take the responsibility to yourself, from there, the things going to change. And in half of the problem you've done. But if you start to throw the ball to others and the reason to others, then what will happen? The situations become more worst. So once you take the responsibilities to yourself, and always remember that whatever happens, there is a reason inside us to happen it around us. So without a reason, you're not going to be there. By mistake, you're not going to be any place. There is a reason. Maybe we cannot see it. Why we cannot see? Because we don't look. So once you recognize that you have 50% responsibility, the very first thing that you have to do right away, your bodily, verbally actions, you have to shut down. So once you know it is your responsibility, the very first thing that you have to do, bodily, verbally, the actions you have to shut down. Once the bodily, verbally actions shut down, it gives power to see your mental actions. You cannot shut down the mental actions unless if you have a well-trained person to do so. But bodily action, verbal action, you can do. So once the bodily and verbal action shut down, and you can see very clearly your mind. So that's why even practicing meditation, we come to the posture, we sitting, we close our eyes, we don't do anything. We shut down all the action and we completely become silence. So why? Because once the bodily verbal action shut down, disconnecting, the mind going to become isolate. In that isolated mind, and it cannot go with the only that itself holding everything related to its own power and pushing through the always with the bodily and verbal action, it always go outside. So now it cannot do that. So then what is happening? Your mental action, you start to able to recognize how this mental actions happening inside you. So that clarity is important to fix anything. Once you stop your bodily and verbally actions, it's the half of your mental action going to become weaker. Because mental action become complete by the help with the bodily and verbal action. So once the mental action become little bit weaker, and then that your observation help you to see how the mind involving with this situation, whatever the sadness, worry, unhappy, or whatever the failure that you go through. So that is a kind of like a breaking point, turning point yourself to see where the link that happening within your mind. But the thing is this, when we are in that situation, we do more bodily action, more verbal action. Like as example, when you get angry, disappointed, sometimes you do a lot of things. You don't see it. You work fast. You even do many other activities so fast. You cannot slow down. But it is just not just the bodily action. It's coming as a power of the mind. And the verbal action. You say a lot of things. When you get angry, mad, disappointed, sad, see, it come as a part of the mind. So once you drop down the bodily verbal action, it helps to reduce the power of the mind. Once you reduce the power of the mind to go with this current, and that is where you slowly can get into it. So you have to fix it yourself. There is no way. There is no way that somebody can do this. Somehow you have to do it. And once you're able to, little by little, maybe not in the first day, but little by little, if you're able to get into this pattern and shut down a little bit bodily action, shut down a little bit verbal action, and let things to settle down. Even when you are in disappointed moment or unhappy moment, you cannot think. So then what you have to do? Just completely slow down. So if you are intensely do this become a profitable skill. So whatever you keep doing, it become a habit for you. So then if you able to do this, that's why every day when you keep practice meditation, it become a habit for you. Once it become a habit, it's easy for you to get into the clear point. We don't practice to get into a habit, but in the beginning, to break down the pattern of the mind, we have to develop a pattern. So otherwise meditation is not a kind of like you come to a point that you completely become kind of like a numb, neutral. No. Because you do it intensely. So, but the thing is, we have a pattern inside us. The very first thing that you have to do, you have to break that pattern and you have to weak that pattern. So for that, what you have to do, you have to build up a pattern. So once you build that pattern, in a certain level, your mind completely going to come to a point with the clarity. So in that point, you can even take whatever the path you want, and it never going to go wrong anymore. So because this anything is not inherent, remember this. Good or bad or sad or worry, anything is not inherent. No one born to this world with the sad, unhappy or happy. It's not like that. We come with the empty. So then what is happening, and according to then day-to-day life, that whatever that we keep doing and whatever we keep repeating, that thing is going to build up. So then little by little, you have to build up a discipline. And with the bodily action, verbal action, and slow down it. And then isolate your mental action. And it will right away become weak. And once it become weak, that whatever the negative side and your awareness become clear. With that awareness, what you have to do, then you have to use your bodily and verbal action to make it profitable. It's mean kind of like doing good things. Just becoming neutral doesn't make any sense. So you come out of in the very first thing, you shut down your bodily verbal action and from negative things. And then once the mind calm down, you have right away, you have to use your bodily and verbal actions to positive side. So don't just stay doing nothing. So when you are angry, you don't do anything and you don't say anything. So I'm just giving an example. And but when the anger disappears, don't stay without doing anything. Don't stay without saying anything. So then how you can do? When the anger disappears, and start to do something. At least plant a tree. Clean yourself a little bit. If anybody need help, do that. So like that, make it profitable that time. And then the verbal action. Do some chanting. Do some prayers. So if that doesn't mean you have to go outside and talk to a lot of, no. Just at least try to do chanting a little bit. So that become kind of like a good verbal action to you. So like that, when you are in the good mood, you have to do the bodily verbally action as much as you can. So that way what is happening, when the next time, so whatever the disappointment, unhappiness, sadness, worry arise, the right away, you can stop it very easily. And at the same time, when you develop the pattern, maybe you can uplift that good qualities. So this is a method that you have to develop within yourself with your bodily, verbally, and mentally action, because those are the three pillars. Those are the these three rivers that hold us and feeding to this samsara. So if you able to maintain it properly, because you cannot completely shut down it. Only thing is you have to learn how to maintain it properly. So the teachings or the Dhamma is the way that it teaches you how to maintain bodily, verbally, and mentally action properly. So then it come out of the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So when you are in the greed, hatred, and the delusion, don't try to get into any kind of bodily, verbally, or mentally action. And then what you have to do? And so in the very first thing, because you cannot go to the positive side directly, so very first thing, shut down it. So once you shut down and you come to a neutral point, and then because the very nature of the mind, it's like cloud, it's going to go away. And then the very next thing what you have to do right away, when you are in the good mode, and start to do the good things. And little by little, that patterns become higher, stronger. In a certain level, the other side going to become weaker. So otherwise, just becoming worry ourselves, becoming sad, even thinking about that, whatever the problems that you go through, and blaming to ourselves doesn't work. So somehow you have to get out of it. It is you have to do it. No one can do it for you. So that's why, while you are having time, while you are having even 1 minute, 5 minutes enough, when you have, so whatever you do, make it profitable. Our mistake is this: when we are in a good time, when we are having a free time, unknowingly, mostly we invest that time to unprofitable things. That's why when the emergency situation come, like anger, hatred, jealousy, that kind of emergency situations come, there's no backup. There's nothing can come and help us, because we didn't develop it like that way. So then always, when you have free time, be very wise yourself and use it for something good for you. And personally, you have to look what you want in this life. So then, when you have free time, use that time for that. If you're thinking to start a business, when you have free time, don't watch TV. Successful people in ordinary life, in conventional life, successful people don't watch TV. It is only for lazy people. And whoever that become the educated person, even that with whatever the subject, they don't TV that much. They don't always go to Facebook and stay on the Facebook. No, they don't do that. Maybe somebody else behalf of them, they go for that, but they don't go. They don't get into that. And they're not listening to music that much. That is for only for children. See, look that whatever the people, whoever that become successful in whatever in life, in conventional life, and forget about the spiritual life completely opposite of this all. So at least in conventional life, in day to day, you have to look, can you manage at least your own life? That is the point that we have to come finally and see. Forget about everything. Even myself, I every day think, so we come to this, we come, and preach, we tell to people, don't do this, that. So when a situation come, I always look myself, can I manage myself? Can I handle myself? Asking help, getting help is something, it's a part of it. But myself, I should have the strength, and I should have kind of like a vision myself to handle the situation. Otherwise, how we can survive in the world? Just look yourself. So that is the bottom line. You have to look yourself. This is before we go to even the spiritual, because the spiritual is a kind of like it's deeply that you have to have some wisdom to go for it. But in conventionally, first you have to at least manage your basic life. So can you do that? At least have the idea yourself to take the responsibility and move forward yourself. Always help. Where are it going to end? So even see that, even that spiritually we become debtors, it become we are kind of like we building up like a beggarly life. We are beggar, kind of like a beggar inside, deeply, that we have that with for the wisdom, even for day-to-day life, for even that the social life, we kind of like beggars. Ourselves, we always, even emotionally, we are beggars. Somebody need to make us happy. What the point of that? Why somebody need to make you happy? Why you, is there no any reason for you to be happy? And always, we have the dependent nature from the others. At least yourself, your life in day to day, look yourself around you. That is how you have to become matured. Otherwise, this meditation is not kind of like something. No, you take the fully responsibility to yourself. That is not easy. You closing your eyes, you shutting down everything, you sitting in one place, and you focusing to your mind, mean you learn to take the responsibilities to yourself. So then in day-to-day life, whatever happened, in the very first thing, remember to take the responsibilities to yourself and learn to handle the situation and learn to move forward. Taking help is okay. We all get the help. Even the Buddha attained to the Buddhahood once, the very first time. The Gatikara Brahma gave the Atapirikara. The all the robes and everything to the Buddha. That's how it says. So it always, we need the help from others. And the Buddha himself every day, even he went back to see his father. Early morning, father used to, the prepare for the lunch, dana. And what the Buddha did, took the begging bowl and start to go to the street. And we live with the people. That doesn't mean we become a debtor to that. So it is completely different path. So in this path, before we go to spiritual, or before you go to talk about the Nibbana path or the Nirvana, attaining to enlightenment, the very first thing that you have to remember as a human being, you are complete. There is nothing else you need to become a human being. Remember that. How rare it is, how powerful it is. There is nothing else that you need to become a human being. You are complete. There is no any. When a baby born to this world, you will see the history of the entire human life, medical history. Look, when any baby born, there is no any doctor told to them, oh, we have to put this organ from outside to this baby like. So when you bring a car or when you bring a vehicle, that you can do body work, that you can make it more different. But when a human come to this world, you cannot. There's nothing to do. Only thing, maybe you can put a tattoo. That's it. Or maybe you just put some jewelries. That's it. But there is nothing, any organs that you can add from outside. See, you are completely complete. So in that completion, why you look for somebody else, that whatever other people did, why you go behind them? Because you also can do something. Learn to take that responsibility. And that is very important in conventional life. So then when you have little break, look what you can do yourself for your life. And if you have idea to become yourself who you are, so use that time to become like that. If you need a good samadhi, if you need a very good tranquility state of the mind, if you look for that, 5 minutes come, you sit for meditation. 5 minutes you practice meditation. 5 minutes you practice meditation. After you eating, practice meditation. So like that you do it within few weeks, you get into that. So otherwise you have time, you watch TV, you go talk with the friends hours, and you go here and there, and so you talking with people, and then end of the day you thinking 5 minutes you want to have a good quality tranquility state. You cannot get it. So this is a kind of conventional base for the spiritual practice. Even the subject, or even if you are study something, if you don't invest the time for that, how you going to get the result? Not going to happen. So then the very first thing, that mostly, rather than counting whatever unhappy moment in life, and start to the very first thing, shut down bodily verbally action and give some push to weaken your mental action and let it be. And then the other part is increase your bodily verbal action with the profitable way. And that way, little by little, you reverse the current. And then whenever you have good time, when you have the time, always make it profitable and use it. Don't waste your time. And then little by little, you will see when situations come, you're not going to be like yesterday. You change. So that's how you have to change the current little by little. And then in a certain level, once the mind become clear, and you know this pattern, how this works. And then from there, and when you look for your spiritual practice or your meditation or your the enlightenment, then you see and how you can develop that also, because the same model. So whatever the conventionally you use, that it going to go to the eternal also. Why? Because this both conventional and eternal, it's like the same behavior. You cannot tell I live conventionally like this, I going to be spiritually like that. It not, you cannot become like that. The way you maintain your physical and material, one way is your spirituality. So that's why remember that when you, if you want to change the pattern, rather than looking for somebody or rather than blaming to somebody and thinking this is something, take the responsibility. And that is where you're going to end this. No matter what, no matter how difficult it is, how hard it is, take it to you. You can do it. So otherwise, if you always look for something, somebody, and it's never going to end. And then when we look at the human history, sometimes entire nations fell down because of this kind of mindset. But when we look at the world, how the nations go higher because of this positive mindset. So for the people, you need that. So once you have it, and you get the responsibility, you go for it, and it itself, the life become beautiful. So that is how you have to maintain it. It's your fully responsibility. During Buddha's time, there was a young person, and this young person, his father passed away, and he didn't do any that much the spiritual things, religious things. So somehow this young boy was so sad about his father, because in that culture, normally when especially parents die, the son used to do the funeral service and all the rituals. So this guy was so sad about his father, because during his time that he couldn't help for him that much. Somehow one day Buddha came to that village, and everybody went to see the Buddha. Then this young boy went to Buddha and told, Venerable Sir, my father passed away a few days ago, and I feel so sorry about him because I couldn't do anything. Can you help uh, him to go to higher place? And Buddha said, I cannot do that. So this boy again and again keep asking, please do something, please do something, please help me to do something, because you can do. People say a lot of things, lot of good things about you. The Buddha said, I cannot do anything for your father. It is all up to him. So then this boy was a little bit unhappy about the Buddha. So then Buddha said, okay, bring 2 clay pots, empty pots. And then this boy was so happy, oh, now the Buddha going to do something. And he ran out and then brought 2 empty clay pots. And then Buddha told, okay, put pebbles to 1 pot and tied the mouth. And then for other empty clay pot, put the ghee and then close the mouth. And that boy did that. And now he's so happy. Now he knew, oh, Buddha going to do something. And Buddha told him, okay, take this to this river. And there was a river close by. And then Buddha and he went to the river. And then Buddha told, go to the river and place this both underneath the water. And the boy took these two clay pots, one is pebbles, one is ghee, and went to the water and put under the water. And then Buddha told, now break this both clay pots. And he did it. So then what happened? Within few minutes, all the ghee came out of the water. And then Buddha asked from this guy, see, what happened to the pebbles? Oh, Venerable Sir, it is under the water. So why this ghee came up to the water? Oh, Venerable Sir, it is lighter than the water. The ghee is lighter than the water. The pebbles heavier than the water. So whatever heavy, it is underneath, and whatever lighter, it came up. So then the Buddha asked, do you think that you can make this ghee heavy and put under the water, and you can make that pebbles light and bring out of the water? So this guy told, no, Venerable Sir, I cannot do it, because the ghee inherent that lightness, the pebble inherent with the heaviness. So Buddha said the same thing with the human mind. No one can make somebody higher, or no one can make somebody lower. It is their own mind. By exchanging like these ideas, we can help like that way. So other than that, there is no way that we can help or anybody, because our lighter or our heavier is inherent. It is our own choice. So then when it comes to life, remember, it's not about anybody else. It is your own choice. End of the day, people do whatever they want. That's how the life. So then you have to look what you want in life. Is this your choice? Then take the responsibility. Don't blame to anybody. So whatever the life, go with it, because it is your choice. But if this is not what you want, the same thing, don't blame to anybody. Take the responsibility, change what you keep doing. So, because no one can change their inner nature, if they have to change it. So like that, then yourself, remember, especially look yourself, and it's come with your bodily, verbally, and mentally action. If you recognize that, and you can slowly change whatever the situations. And the most powerful action is not the bodily action, not the mental, the verbal action. The most powerful action is the mental action. That is what we neglect. That is what we don't think. That is what we put it to the trash. And we even don't think what is in our head. All the garbage is there. So that's why it doesn't matter how beautiful the world, mostly that ugly things happening, because our human mind is not clear. So then yourself, remember, and get into that and clean it. There's nothing to add, just clean it, clean it, clean it. Once you clean it as much as that you can, that you get the result out of that clarity. So that clarity itself will show you the path to attain to the liberation. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi diga yuko bhava. එත්තාවතා ච අම්මේහි සම්පදං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා සබ්බේ භූතානුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුච්ඡතු. Bless you.